All right, we're back. Welcome back to Policing Pips Day Trading Lobby here at Tradecast.com, YouTube, and Twitch now. Trying it out on the Twitch world. I am a little disappointed we couldn't be on yesterday. Really great moves we saw. I did end up taking a long from the very, very bottom on my phone and said to myself, I'm not going to be playing on my phone today. I don't like the way price action works, and I don't have my full bit of data. And what do you know? I stopped myself at it even, and immediately after I stopped myself at even, price took off and went to the moon, per se. But today we're just looking to react and not have any FOMO on that kind of price action. We're going to see what happens with Microsoft, with NVIDIA, with our open. I wouldn't hate to see like a flush of our overnight low here and then just a continuation to the upside. I think there is definitely still room there. If we go to the 30-minute chart here, I drew these up yesterday. I found these on a longer term. It has been working out here, so it's stuck in this little wedge pattern. If we do push up over yesterday's high, we're going to have to watch this 19.4 to see if it's going to hold, because if not, I think we do have that next breakout leg to 20,000 at some point before the rate decision. We don't have any of these Fed speakers, anything like that, so it's going to be pure price action. We did get our unemployment to tick, the unemployment claims to tick down a little bit. PPI came in light, so see what happens there. Overall, just react, see what comes of it, and we will be better off for it. So we are breaking down from this little bit of a wedge here, come 1 minute into the open. Let's see if that holds or not. Microsoft ticked down a little, NVIDIA ticked down a little. Kind of want to see if we can flush through that 228 level and get any sort of support there. I want to see if I have anything on my long-term chart as far as levels close by. Nothing really close by. That whole level between basically 155 and 398, 400 is something that I'm not really seeing much of any interest. Maybe up into 360s up there. So not a whole lot of real resistance. Maybe down below 223. So 228 does make some sense for a bounce play. Okay. Let's see. See if we creep down. See if we push down. We are now open. Let's see what we get out of this. Hopefully everybody has a good day. Don't do dumb shit out there. Be smart. And let's get it. It's all about patience. I want to see if this will flush through this 220s, get heavy through here, give me a hard snap, then immediately turn around, come back up through 230s, and try and go long and clean up that overnight inventory to the high side. We did have a bit of what I would consider, you know, just grindy price action up there on the overnight. So that was a nice clean move down. I don't know if I trust the whole bounce immediately. I want to see a flush, a manipulation, maybe some wedging. Maybe price will spend a little time down here. That'd be nice. I would wait maybe for S&Ps to also catch up to get to 55, 54. Because NVIDIA just cracked through 116 and is trying to break down. Microsoft bounced for 422. So we are holding this level at the moment for now. If we can get down to 220, 210, that would be real nice. Those are the kind of hard flushes on volume I like to see, immediately. There we go. I'll take a buy through there if it wants to go. Give this a little bit of a chance. See what happens with S&Ps. Does it come down and flush that overnight low, or does it hold above? All right, I'm triggered long. Let's see if it goes. I'm willing to take a shot at this because I do think that there might be some upside to at least retest this zone here. And I'll take one off there at the top here. Get to even. Okay, we got one contract off. We're good to go. Now we let this thing kind of dance a little bit. See if it's going to go further or if it's going to break down some more. Looks like S&Ps are a little heavier. My normal is to VWAP, but I'm going to trail the whole position if it breaks above this box here to secure myself at least that much more. Right, there we go. Nice little clean move. Failing that overnight low. Same thing we like to do pretty much every single time here. It's not rocket science. I just wait for the failure, wait for the break to the downside or to the upside, and I like to just fade the failures. It's really what I like to call it. Fading the failures. Don't do dumb shit. Keeping things simple is really what I like to do. I like to return back to VWAP, so I'll sell one at VWAP on a manipulation there. And then I'll let the rest play out, see what happens. So hopefully we can get that to VWAP. If not, I'm going to secure myself that little bit. Shouldn't break that back down again. That's the opening range high, technically, I guess. Well, we're breaking through the opening range high right now. Nice, clean move to the upside on a failed breakdown of the overnight low. If I can get some help from Microsoft through this 422 level, then we should be able to get this one off at VWAP. Come on. One tick away from getting filled there. Did not get filled. Didn't get filled on that one. One tick away from getting filled on that. That was crazy. I'm just going to melt off now. That's crazy. You see that? I went just over VWAP and it didn't get filled. This is very whippy right here. It's probably going to come down, whip us out. There we go. We're out for a nice little first trade of the day. Trading only 3 micros. Got ourselves 137. Tried to take that one contract off at VWAP. I ended up actually being just over VWAP based on the way price likes to react around the VWAP with NASDAQ. But it really respected VWAP to the tick here. So the whole strategy worked out pretty perfectly, except for I didn't get that trail off. So overall, 137 on that first trade of the day. Well done there. Hell yeah, baby. Hell yeah. $254 with 5 micros. The power of smaller size allowing you to get through and up, right? We went from down $1,000 to start this week to now up already 400 on just clean, good trading, right? Just nice, relaxed, allowing that strategy to play out, see what happens from here. I mean, I realistically think that this could be, if we get another flush, I will look to go long again through that same level, seeing if we can get maybe some help from the Mag 7 names. Maybe NVIDIA and Microsoft could bid up through their levels. However, NVIDIA ran into that opening high, and then Microsoft ran into 422.51, which is a key structure level that I have drawn up, and it kind of rejected it for the time being. Right here, you can see Microsoft rejected that. NVIDIA pushed back down to find support here at 115, so we could still rally off of that level. Another good trade. So if you're new to the stream, that's the strategy right there, the go-to. Look for a hard flush on some decent volume, if not lower volume. Try and find that immediate reversal, or watch for like a wedging type pattern, something that's going to tell you that it's ready to snap around key levels. I'm going to be playing around key levels. If I'm in this black abyss of the space between zones, I usually am just going to sit on my hands. I'm not going to be trading. I will watch for this lower zone here because I do think this was reactive last night. We got towards close yesterday, we got really explosive through this key structure level here at 73, 72. Pushed right up to the top of this zone. I drew it up before this even happened just to see what would happen around there. And you can see breakout, retest of it, and rotate out. So this could be major structure, but down there at 140. I don't think we get there. I think now this would have filled us there. That was that tick away. I'm not taking that chance on this to be rotating and melting off on it. So overall, good trade, that first one. I'm still willing to see if this is going to ride out around this green light. The green line is previous day highs. Blue line is overnight highs. Since we're on micros, I don't have that written up, so we'll go previous day high, overnight high, overnight low. For those of you who are newer, who don't know the color coordinations, that's really kind of what it is. We took this long right here on this candle there for the failed breakdown of the overnight low. S&P's was relatively strong, never quite made it to that overnight low, which also kind of gave me some pause, but at the same time showed that there was some strength here. NVIDIA and Microsoft both started to curl to the upside, so I said, let's take it, let's give it a shot on that failed breakdown. And pretty clean move, nice and easy. If you took that with just one mini, that's from, we got filled. Let's see, our trade was from 231. We got filled at 231, and our last out was 249. Our best out was 257. So that was $1,000 move right there for you. $40, $50, $60, $70, 30 points times 4 times 5. For you who are doing math at home, 30 points times 4 ticks times $5 a tick, $600 times 3 contracts. There you go. I like to see this price dancing around in this range. We usually look at the opening range as a reference of where we are on the day. The opening range candle here for the 1 minute is right there. 1 minute candle. Bam. Bam. I'll adjust this to be low is 231 quarter. High of this candle is 268.75. So there's your opening range, that 1 minute opening range holding on top of there. This also looked manipulative to me too, to see that this flush down would come into play here, then to rotate back up, sort of like I've been talking about for a lot of what we've been seeing. If you flipped it the other way, or if you look to see this wedge break in either direction, all right, now that first move happens, you stop run some people up here. You know there's a bunch of stop orders just above either this high here or this high here or overnight highs. So there's a good reason why they would flush this down, trap some shorts, get them involved, have their stops, up on these ranges. And now if you do start to squeeze above previous day highs, you can maybe get all of those sell orders selling into you. Oh, yeah. Very good. Very good coffee. Today's roast of the day, as always for me, I like that Scalper's Delight dark roast because I am scalping and I am a dark roast kind of guy. It's my favorite blend that we have, or our favorite roast that we have. I'm sorry. It is a single origin. Depends on the time of year. I think right now we're using Guatemala for our short squeeze espressos, as well is going to come up soon. So we're going to get one of those. Maybe if we get down on those, we'll call for the short squeeze espressos. Right now we're just chopping in the middle of that opening range. S&P's opening range is here. This is that S&P 1 minute opening range right there. Go the high of that candle is 55.64. Good. Low of this candle is 55, 57, 3/4. So we got it. Spot on. I tend to use the 1 minute opening range because it's just a good general idea of where we've gone since open, where our sentiment is. In electronic trading, you would think most of the time, like they've said on Top Step TV here and there, everybody who needs to get something done on open is going to get it done in that first minute. The first 15 minutes really gets like a directionality. So you could use 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minutes for your opening range. We're still within that 15-minute opening range. It just kind of expands it a little bit, gives you a little bit more of a bigger, broader area to play with, and then you'll start to see more directionality off that 15-minute. I know people preach that orb strategy, that 15-minute orb strategy. I'm not really using the opening range as any part of my strategy as far as like a direct break of it. I use it for targets. I use it for directionality to see, okay, are we going to be holding above it? Is the S&P's holding above their opening range and the NQ is below and diverged? Like, what are we seeing come the break of these levels, right? So now S&P is looking to break below its opening range and NQ is on the highs. NVIDIA is trying to break 117 and Microsoft is sort of breaking down, looking to kind of, looks like it may want to try and push down into that 419s if it does break lower. So NVIDIA pushing off of highs, Microsoft pushing down lows, S&P's breaking through lows, and NQ trying to hold the high. If this can't hold the high and flushes the overnight low, I would anticipate 140 to come into play here. So I would eyeball that for a strong break if it does come. Just based on, you can see NVIDIA at a key structure level looking to sell from here. Microsoft showing relative weakness, however, giving you a little bit of a pop right there. So if you can find the correlation here between these names and your indications and what you're looking at as far as price action, order flow, all that fun stuff, you'll be able to develop a sound strategy for yourself and be able to make the money that you want to make day in and day out, right? We just took one good trade on 3 micros there. Could have secured a little bit more. We were 1 tick away from getting filled. I trailed out to here because I figured if this flushes again, we get a really hard flush, probably get stopped. And we would have got stopped at even there, or been in by 1 tick maybe. But I'm not willing to take that chance because of the way we ran up yesterday. A break and failure of this again tells me that we probably want to break further down. So I'm willing to trail out most of my position there, take that $100, and then just move on to the next idea if it does present itself. Right now, like we're saying, we're wedging here, sitting on top of this, little support level that we got going on. It's really not that important anymore, but I will keep it there for the short time because it has reacted even on the S&Ps as well here. You can see that is kind of running into that break, retest, rotate down, If this is super, super tight, choppy price action, looking like it's winding up for a directional move, but we need to see, some sort of confirmation allowing us to play this comfortably in a direction, because it could snap in one direction, right? Pick off that previous day high and then rotate back down, or snap back down, try and trap us into the shorts one more time, and then blow us out the top. I would expect some manipulation out of this, especially since this breakdown here never really got the orders back up over where you would expect that to be manipulative, right? If this was manipulative, you would expect the stop runs to come into play, and we haven't seen that yet. You haven't seen the stop runs over the high. Not yet. I mean, it still could come in and could still happen. It could still be just accumulating orders here. NVIDIA, again, trying to fail 117.70, holding for now. Microsoft doing that wedge pattern as well. If Microsoft breaks the wedge to the downside and pushes down, I would wait till 419 before trying to buy anything on the NQ. Could get some follow through to the downside as well. Hopefully everybody's up on the day so far. Saw that trade, saw that quick opportunity here. Unfortunately, we didn't get the follow through like we got yesterday off of a key level. You see that break? That was nice and strong there. I didn't see huge size on it, but it is breaking. Now you're starting to see lots of orders on the time and sales there getting filled. Gonna be patient. You see S&P's broke 2 overnight lows right here. S&P's at overnight lows. So watch to see if it does break and hold, or if it's going to start to rotate back down. Same thing with the NQs. Does the NQs flush this low now? Because S&P's is leading us to the downside. We're leading with the NQs. Microsoft getting heavy. NVIDIA getting heavy. Should see a snap crack of this level down to maybe 200. And then who knows how far. I'm going to wait for 140 before I get involved again. Unless we do sweep this low here at 210 and try to come back up and hold over the overnight lows to give us another try and leg to the high side. But I don't trust that yet. I think heaviness does come in here. We caught our move, that first move here. The secondary move here probably is a true flush. The way this wound up, we never swept the highs. So it wasn't quite manipulative yet in my eyes. I'm not going to take this long here, although it does look fresh. I think Microsoft looks more poised for a breakdown. So I think that this could be a trap us into the long and then rotate us down, as far as my strategy is concerned, right? If I would have taken this entry, I would have taken it here, and I would have been probably stopped below low here, and I would anticipate this low to get swept just based on the way heaviness came in right now. So that's why I avoid this at certain times. Also, I mean, this actually high volume breakdown here does give me a nice little indication, especially S&P's sitting on 55.47. If that gives up, then lows come in for S&P's, or lower pricing, I should say. Come in for the S&P's 53.35. I don't think it breaks. I don't think we recover the whole position from yesterday, but I think we do get some more heaviness. This does feel like it wants us to go long, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to trick myself into taking that, even though it is a nice little setup there. I just feel like Microsoft's ready to get heavy. And if you want to play that breakdown, this possibly could lead you at least to a sweep of 200, right? There's the break. There you go. Snap down, called that right there. Snap right to 200. So you would be safe on the short for quite some time at this moment. I think down to at least 19,140 if it does break 200, based on saying the heaviness of Microsoft kept me out of that long. The heaviness of NVIDIA kept me out of that long. Look for these things to help keep you out of trades. And then if it tells you, hey, you got to get into this, then you get into it, right? This here was my strategy. This is what I look for, especially on a quick open breakdown, fail break, rotate back to VWAP. I mean, that's exactly what I look for every single day. If I could do that every day, that same move one time, 2 times, I'm going to be well off if I could do it that way every single time. So we have heaviness, I think, through 200. Down to 19,140 would be your next target. A really nice, it would be like a clean 60-point move. Probably very little rejection if it does give you that flush, right? It should be kind of a quick, heavy move, sort of how this NVIDIA, how this S&P looked. I'm going to wait to try and anything long on the NQ until Microsoft gets to 419 quarters. Once Microsoft gets to this dotted yellow line, then I'll be more interested in trying to play the bounce on the Nasdaq. Same thing with the Nvidia trade. Nvidia probably has even lower, probably has down to 113 to be honest with you. Just based on this, maybe even yesterday's pre power hour support 115 could be an area of interest, but this level here that we have probably doesn't act super strong the way that market's getting kind of heavy right now. So I will watch 115.97, especially if Microsoft gets here first. I just don't think it will. Flushing 200, really, this is where you would expect some reaction. I would think that it would be cleaned down to 140, but that's just potentially. If you look into yesterday's price action right here, this is that, pre 230 pullback breakout point, 209 to 200, right? Good area for accumulations to go long. So there is some resistance here, 180, 200, 160, and then 140. I don't trust this. Even another test of this, probably breakdown, retest, rotate. I don't have that. Until Microsoft comes down to that support, I don't want to be buying. That's just me personally. If you find some support levels, if you find some structure, right, 200 holding here, that's a good reason for longs. However, I do think it's still heavy at the moment, right? Until these major players, Microsoft and Nvidia, decide to do something that's going to tell me that it's going the other way. I mean, little bounces here lead to this on that side. However, I don't know if that's going to be a bounce or it's just going to be a rotation. S&Ps break back above 55.47, so that is a good indication there. Apple made it really heavy and bounced at 220 even. Amazon, heavy and bounced, but more of like a dead cat bounce. Google, very sideways, choppy. Tesla was a rocket ship on the open, pulled back off of 230, and now is finding some support at 227.50, 227.20. Could still have another leg to the downside for Tesla. But there's that rotation back through the overnight high. I still don't know if that's going to be a true move, although I like the way it looks, right? The sweep of this low coming back. S&P's holding 55.47. If S&Ps could get up into that opening range, maybe we see a pullback through the overnight low again, and we try that long. But I think personally, this is just more sideways action, not ready to really do anything until some of these other names give me a better indication of where they want to go. If it goes straight up, it goes straight up. I'm not really... I did mention yesterday or 2 days ago about rollover, so I want to talk to you slightly about the rollover. This is the volume and open interest. We saw, I'm just going to refresh it, just make sure it's the right numbers. The September contract still well ahead in the open interest, but you can see it's losing open interest, and the December contract is gaining that open interest, right? As of yesterday, 6,000 more contracts came into the December contract, and we lost to 729 in the September contract, right? So expect this number to start lower, getting lower and lower and lower, and this number, December, getting higher and higher and higher as we approach the the rollover, which will probably happen, the full roll will happen by Monday of next week. It's usually when the roll will happen in your account. If you're using Top Step X, they auto roll. I know some Trade-Evate, if you could set it for an auto roll, it will do it for you. Excuse me. You can see that breakdown, retest could happen again. Nvidia ran right back to 117 area, and Microsoft selling from 421.50. I would anticipate this to be heavy. 5 minutes till the hourly close. I cannot execute a trade according to my personal rules. This is something that I like to preach as far as setting your own rules, setting stuff that's going to keep you solvent long term. I find that I get a little bit manipulated around the hourly closes. You do get a lot of data, like either people trade on the hourly close, they'll either enter or exit on hourly closes. So 9 o'clock, especially that first 30 minutes, let that whole thing settle out. For me personally, it's 5 minutes. Some people might be a minute. Some people might be whatever. And then a lot of times you're going to get data releases come those high top of the hour numbers, right? So today we don't. I mean, maybe something magically pops in there, but today we don't have it. But normally you're going to get something at 9. You're going to get something 7:30, 9, 9:30, 8:45. So a lot of those numbers can come out around hourly closes. So I don't like to do it. I just set those rules for myself. If you find that you start to get manipulated around certain times, set rules in place where you stick to them wholeheartedly, and you're able to kind of just be able to just be comfortable saying, I'm not going to take that trade there, because over time it leads to shitty price action, or it leads to me getting manipulated out, or I can't manage my position. If I'm already in a position, then it is what it is. But if I'm managing what I have, I usually don't enter a new position for these 5 minutes. I like to see where this hourly candle is going to close in relation to some of my key structure levels. So that's just part of my strategy. You don't have to do it. I just do it because I find it helpful. I do think that the breakdown does come into play. Will it happen here? Potentially. But like I said, I don't enter in on hourly 5 minutes to hourly closes. So until this mark gets past this dotted line, 2 more candles, 3 more candles, then I will be able to reactivate into the market. Already being up 137.28 on a couple micros, right? Just taking a nice clean move. I took off one contract right at the retest of this level. I tried to take off a second right at VWAP. I was one tick over it and did not get filled. Shit happens. It is what it is. I trailed out for the base of this because if we broke this, I expected something like this to happen. And it, realistically, we took as much out of that position as possible, unless I would have pushed up into, these highs. But realistically, I wanted to allow it some room to dance on top to clear out and push up. After yesterday, I don't expect that same type of expansion that we got. I think we're going to get more inside price action. It is a quiet period for the Fed. We have rate cut all but guaranteed for next, the 18th. So the 18th is next Wednesday. So you may get some sideways price action until then. I think we still go upside. I think leading into the rate decision, you're going to have a lot of upside momentum. And then with that rate decision, it's going to be buy the rumor, sell the news type deal. Historically, on rate cuts, the market does sell off historically through rate cuts. So I don't know if Deck posted it in here at all, but he tends to post that, the historical things. Let me see if I can find it while we're in my quiet period as well. There it is. All right. He posts this. Capture, download, save. Deck posted this here in his little shit, but I feel like it's pretty important to kind of note. Most of the time when we get rate cuts, you get decent pullbacks off of these levels. And most of the time they're happening at highs, all-time high levels, where you're getting these rate cuts to come into play, right? So you could see, come on. You could see these pullback. I want to be able to make this bigger, but I can't at the moment. Let's see. Full size? Whatever. I'll just pop it open here. There we go. It's now 9 o'clock. I could execute, but I want to just kind of show you this. We're rolling into that rate cut. You see, every time we're pretty close to highs or at all-time highs or slightly pulled back, which is kind of where we're at right now, right? Pull back 50% after that pivot, 58% after the Fed pivot, 35% after the Fed pivot. We're looking at that 18th. Where are we going to be? We're going to be at all-time highs or right around it, looking to be pulling back. I think there's a good chance we do get that sell-off on the news, but we have to wait and see what happens, right? I am very much been talking about that for now. Nvidia did a nice little breakout there, so that manipulation to the downside, I say this looks like a long for now with the way Nvidia broke. This is why I don't take things right around 10 o'clock, right around hourly closes, right? Because leading into the hourly, this does seem primed for short setups if it wanted to get a little bit deeper. However, now it seems like it wants to rotate out, positioning, closing the hour over the overnight low. So potentially wanting to rotate that hour to the other side, or we're just going to continue to retest this line that we keep playing with, which I'm going to get rid of because I don't like to have it on there for no reason. This is a very sideways price action. We haven't decided on where we want to go. The first 30-minute range is from, we'll measure it out, the top of here to the bottom of this candle here, 104 points, right? 100-ish points. Yesterday we got that in one candle. So just note that it's slightly lower volatility today. I think in anticipation for some of what's coming, you're going to get that same deal, especially after yesterday. People took really big wins yesterday. I think also you're going to get much, anybody who's taking those kind of wins are probably going to just chill on the day after, right? It feels like it wants to stay strong with Nvidia being strong right now. I told you, I think up into that 19.4 and even 20,000 does seem like not out of the realm of possibility. Maybe not today, but I think that there's a good chance that you just catch another bid and rotate the other way. Could we recover back down into 19,140? That's really what I'm looking for. Would be a nice little pullback into 19,140. If we get something similar to what we just saw, like a nice flush down here and then a rotate, or if we get a higher low, maybe into the 220s, I'll consider doing a long through here. I think potentially you could still see longs up through overnight highs once VWAP breaks. Nvidia found that 118 level. It held at 115, surprisingly for me. Microsoft never made it down to 419. So that's really what I was waiting for the bounce. Now Microsoft's starting to bid up a little bit. Nvidia's bidding up a little bit. So this could lead to that break here. I think, like I said, I keep saying it. I think before next Wednesday, markets will be at or near the all-time high levels just based on that rate cut decision type play where much of retail is going to buy into that. And then once you get that cut, historically, we know that that's going to start selling off. Do we get a heavy push down through the level here? Nvidia broke through pre-market highs and now is trying to reclaim and accept back into that range. But let's see. It's retesting pre-market highs right now. Sitting here up 137 on the day, not too shabby. Can't be mad at the way we've been working over the last few weeks. I did take, like I said yesterday, I took that trade at the very, very low, took a long, but I was on my phone. It's part of my rules where I say, I'm not going to trade on my phone, right? And I stopped myself out at break even, and then what do you know? We've rallied to where we are now. Would I have been able to catch that entire move? Absolutely not. I never say that. I absolutely don't preach that, but I think that realistically we could have caught a decent amount of it, up to VWAP at least, and beyond that for one runner. But it is what it is. Today we're just reacting. I made $30 on that, basically that break even, and then I tried a power hour trade where I made $20 or whatever. So just a couple trades on attempting to work pullbacks. Didn't really get any follow through on anything after that big move already happened, right? Nvidia broke back down. See if it'll hold 117.70. That's been the area that it's been trying to hold this whole past week. Do we get heavy through here, or do we hold this opening range low? Opening range low coinciding with overnight low. Thinking through these levels, right? Where would there be interest? You're kind of just staying in this range here. It does look like potentially still an overhead break above would make sense. I think holding this opening range low, holding the overnight low. S&P's held 55.47, which is a key structure level. Any of the white lines that you see me draw are kind of just more longer term key structure levels. So S&P's has a lot fewer levels. They react to them a lot more frequently. So if we do see that level, it is pretty important. So to break below it and then return back above it and hold does seem bullish to me. If it could get back up overnight lows, see what happens with that. I still feel some heaviness just based on Microsoft. It's bullish in this regard as far as my S&P is holding above 55.47. But if that does crack, I would watch for a breakdown. If Microsoft still gets heavy, like I said, I'm not really interested until Microsoft comes down into 419.27 or up over 422.50 or in that area, right? That's going to be my confluence. I feel like Microsoft's been really leading more so than NVIDIA lately. NVIDIA has been pushing upside, and you haven't seen that same push in the NASDAQ, right? So Microsoft being pulled down a little bit. The other day, I forgot what I was talking about, but the only thing that was holding us up was Microsoft. And now today it's kind of beating us down a little bit on this. We're still relatively neutral on the day, being stuck in that 1 minute opening range. Got a little wiggle in price there with time and sales. A decent amount of orders hitting on the bid, below the bid. If you are new here, or if you are, let me see, invite guests, no, my channel. Let's see. I want to try and find all the platforms here. If you are in the Tradecaster community or in live on YouTube, I do have a Twitch channel now just to spread the wealth amongst as many people as possible. Go over there, follow me on Twitch or on YouTube. Or if you're on either Twitch or YouTube, go over to tradecaster.com. We have a really great community. We have most of my conversation in that lobby every single day. If you are looking for free content, I am always free on there. There's paid subscriptions. You can use your 7-day free trial and still access me. If not, if you're looking to support the community, or if you're looking to get access to the full suite of everybody in there, plus the educational videos and stuff like that, you could use my code PolicingPips. It'll get you 10% off any membership. But right now we're just kind of hanging in here, being patient with this market right now. I think, like I said, I want to see Microsoft either down at 419.27. If I can get Microsoft down there, NVIDIA's holding over 117. However, it's got to continue to hold to the upside while Microsoft kind of flattened out here. And you can see the fact that we've been pretty flat in the NASDAQ pretty much showing us that, and even the S&Ps has pulled back a lot deeper from its opening range, right? The opening range break, it is finding support at 55.47. So if this continues to hold, I would expect NASDAQ to not have much follow through until this starts to break. And like I said, Microsoft and NVIDIA both kind of a little bit diverged. Microsoft pulling down, NVIDIA trying to push up, and you're not getting that follow through on the S&P, on the NASDAQ, right? So this blue box here is a 1 minute opening range. For those of you who are new or haven't seen this stream before, 1 minute opening range I use as basically a an area where I'm interested to just see relative strength and weakness in the market, right? Are we up on the day? Are we down on the day? How expansive is that opening range? It's a pretty tight opening range for the NASDAQ. Usually it's a little bit wider. S&Ps, we have left it at the high of the day. So any sort of recovery back above this and NQ holding above this, I would find that to be strong for both of the names, especially now that Microsoft's catching a little bit of a bounce. NVIDIA's still trying to push upside, holding that 117.70 level. So overall, like I said, we're still neutral, sideways, haven't picked a direction. I was able to profit on my normal strategy right off the jump. Right here, failed breakdown of overnight lows, mean reversion right back to VWAP. VWAP wasn't very far away, so we were able to kind of come in here and tag it. I was able to get one contract off here. I took a limit order right to that, and it never filled. So I probably should have front ran VWAP a little bit, but overall, like I said, I was able to secure most of the position down here before that full breakdown. So overall, we got that on 3 micros, made $137 on that quick little move. So we will look to see. Now S&P is breaking back above overnight highs, which is a good sign for the bulls to step in. And Q is trying to break above VWAP, still rejecting for the most part. Not a crazy bit of movement. Microsoft still hasn't gave you that big pop to get out of that range, so potentially still could see this pull back again into the low. S&Ps, though, usually respects levels, so if it holds above here and starts to rally, then you might start to get a bid here in the NQ. If this rotates down and fails this overnight low, I would anticipate a bigger sell side move. But I like the longs. I really like the idea of buying into the rate cut, just because we are going to get that historical rate cut to come in. And historically on rate cuts, we get selling and not just a little bit of selling, a lot. So I think it's a buy the rumor, sell the news type deal up into next week. We have no Fed speakers until, that quiet period's over. We'll see what happens. There's that previous day high getting breached. Like I talked about, I felt like this long could play out here with the hold of these levels right there. You can see holding that 55.47, holding the overnight low, and being able to see that, we got NVIDIA starting to continue its move to the high side, breaking through that 118. We got Microsoft here trying to break above this little wedge, trying to hold this low, basically acting the same as the NQ is. So just watching those for our indication. Obviously, I'm talking about S&P being the leader here, right? It was leading us to the downside. NVIDIA was relatively strong compared to the S&P. So I'm going to be on pause here because realistically for me, I don't have set up until overnight highs. Do we get a manipulation of the overnight highs? I think we just get momentum probably into that 400 level. So watch out for a break of this and just continuing straight up. Microsoft catching a bid. See what happens at 422. I think we go a little bit ways away. I really was considering this here as far as longs are concerned, more of like a quick bounce, but also seeing that this was holding and seeing that this was holding here was definitely indicative of we want to try and go higher. I just didn't have the full confidence of Microsoft at the time. So that has held me out of this entry, which is fine. I'm not really looking to go crazy again today. We're looking at our performance stats over the last few days. We were in drawdown pretty decent took 2 full losing days trading full minis. Normally I'm full minis. I'm looking to see if I can get. I dug myself out with micros, and now that I'm in a good streak with micros, I'm just kind of sticking with the micros. But you can see here, just sticking to the plan, just base hits every single day. They stack up, right? From being down about a little over 900 to being up 403 in a week. I will take that every day of the week. I'll take that every week, every month. Just stick to consistency, stick to base hits, and now you're getting the spinning wheel of death there. That's great. Let me see what happens here. 915. Previous day high is still not breached in the S&Ps. Could look to catch up. NVIDIA pulled back to 118 and caught a little bit of a bounce. Microsoft pushing up over 422, looking to approach 422.51, where I would expect some reaction to happen, which may give us an interesting play of a quick hit off of the overnight high. Just a quick one. I wouldn't mind playing this previous day high, but it's so close to VWAP. I don't have that expanded mean reversion idea here. It would be more of a quick scalp if you are somebody who's looking to do that. I'm very simple when it comes to my strategies. I'm looking for just failed breaks. I'm looking for rotational type days. I do like momentum moves, but I like to find the low of that based on my key structure levels. I'm really sticking very strict to my rule set to keep myself, funded every time I get into these funded accounts. I'm really very, very strict with my rules. In combines, I'm loose. I try to be a little bit more aggressive. I will get them, and then sometimes I'll burn them just based on cost risk. It's worth trying it to get it done quickly, to get myself to get into multiple accounts. Right now, I'm just really focusing on one account, trying to grow it as best as possible. We are now approaching these overnight highs. See if we get any sort of rejection before we get that leg up to 400. I think there's a chance. However, it's not, not crazy. I think if 50, this right here, 55.73. Let's see what happens at that level there. The overnight range was quite tight, so the full rotation, overnight low to overnight high, pretty clean. So I want to see the same type of move here where we got strong volume push to the downside. Same thing we saw here. Volume push to the downside, rotate back. Volume push to the upside, actually, and we are continuing on. So that's nice to see. Let's see if we can get up over the overnight high. Like I said, I'm going to look for a quick hit here. It's not going to be like a full-blown sell-off. If I could get up over the overnight highs, it needs to really breach trapped longs, look like it's going to be a strong move, and completely fail and roll over. And that would give me the idea of mean reversion, right? Back be rotational. But my thought process I'm trying to avoid my bias of that this potentially rolls and pushes all the way up to 400, right? This area here makes sense to me. So I'm trying to avoid that and just let my strategy play itself out if I could get up over this overnight high. I would not be afraid of that. Come on now. Get up over that level. Give a nice hard breakout up to 50 or 60 in that range there. If this just ticks it and rotates off, I'm not interested. That's not the strategy. The strategy is fail breakout. If I get a nice, really tight wedging pattern there and it doesn't ever break, then maybe I'll look to short that wedge. But realistically, I would like to see that wedging pattern type deal form, something like this where we get up here, tighten up, maybe give one hard wick, and then we can fail that level here and rotate back down that direction. That's really what I look for after a momentum type move. Nvidia looking to approach 119.39. If it breaches 119.39, then to 122. All right, how far back do we need to go for Nvidia to be in those levels? It's pretty far. Could fail 120, so. Microsoft rejecting 422.50. We're not getting up over that overnight high quite yet. I want to see this snap here. Give me that snap move. There we go. Trying to push it here. This is the overnight high. I have my hotkeys out ready so I could snap a short if it starts to give me a hard push. However, I don't quite trust it. Microsoft rejecting that 422.51 level here. Look at Microsoft there rejecting that key structure level. Nvidia right at a key structure level as well. I would like to see that lead to a good break above this level here. Do I see any size here? There's 100 contracts at 50. But this is a micro, so that's not like really outrageous. Microsoft not doing me any favors to get this up over that level. I want a manipulation. Get it up to 50, and then I'll set a stop order below here. S&P's looks still bullish. It still hasn't run into that 50. I put that line there based on a couple other things, but could break that and continue on. Didn't get up to 50 yet. Got close. I would expect more of a volume candle break for this to be a failed breakout. So it's still kind of not, I don't trust it yet. Nvidia broke above. Microsoft still there. Give me the timing of this. We did get to 50 there. I'm going to take a shot at it. I only took one contract there, I guess. Two. I'll take two. Two micros. There we are. Nice breakdown. I'm going to get to even and see where it goes. I only took two micros because I didn't have my hotkeys set to full size. Nice little solid short there. You see that? Beautiful. Waited for that thing. That timing was perfect. Unfortunately, I just didn't size it totally correctly, but I'm going to secure myself 50 bucks. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to stay at even. I'm going to buy one out at that low if I can get down a little further. No, I like the way S&P's is trying to hold, so I'm gonna take my 10 bucks there. I got out because I should have took the profits there like I did. Just a little short on it. What did we take there on that trade? We took 20 bucks off. $20. I'll take my 20 bucks and run. Do I trust that this will rotate down? I do think that we could get more of a flush down. Microsoft was pretty heavy from those levels. That was a really good timing wise. If you were in a full mini, that's a really good clean trade right there for you. You could basically could have secured like 400 bucks right quick. 39 as your entry down to 13 if you would have took that snap, trail out 15. Now you're starting to get some movement, but you can see how he wound up, failed to break, got the break down to 50, and then rotated. Should have secured that 50 bucks, like I said, but I'll take $20 off. It's really just because these micros are so small. I'm still in that habit of trailing out. These are where I would trail out those minis quick, have very limited risk on it. Risking tight to the top of this range, this 50 mark. Not even just about 10 points, $200 there to make, double that, 2, 4, 5, $600 on that move right there. It just takes these little moves, if you could time them correctly, to limit your risk and rotate out. I would like to see it again if we can get a push up over 50. That's where I like these moves to happen. You can go bodies with this if you trust that. It's up to you. I set my hotkeys for one contract so I could hotkey out. So I'm glad I got into 2 there. At least it made my double my setup. But NVIDIA is breaking new high of day, and Microsoft's pulling back. So you're going to get a little bit of stagnation here. If one of those decides to go the other direction, then this will go with whatever direction that chooses. Right now, NVIDIA is pretty strong. I mean, the candle that just pushed up was pretty strong. You can see that NVIDIA candle breaking high of the day here, and you can see Microsoft breaking and trying to hold lower below this 422. I think realistically, Microsoft is the leader. I think if NVIDIA does start to sell from these levels, then you start to get actual heavy sell-off in the NQs from the overnight highs. But that's just an if, because Microsoft right now could catch a bid at 420, 421.50 and snap to the high side, and then this just continues to rally. And I think 400, like I said, 400 isn't out of the realm of possibility early on today. You could get a good breakout here. Limit your risk to the bottom end of this if that's your game. I am a mean reversion failed breakout trader, so I don't want to play into the breakout. I could start to work both ends of it, where a true breakout I could catch, get to even, and if it does break out, then I'll never get stopped. Then if it does stop me, I can rotate and play my failed breakouts. But I'm trying to stick to just the one thing that's making me money on it, gets me funded, makes me money on a day-to-day basis. I'm not getting greedy right now. Up again on another winning day. Could use another $50 to qualify for payouts, but I'm not taking a payout anytime soon. I'm going to try and build this buffer as best I can and show you the possibilities of what you can do with one 50K account. If that's something that you like, hit the like button, subscribe, share it with your friends, your family, do all that fun stuff. I'm across 3 different streams right now. Today is a good day to share it out there. Twitch, YouTube, Tradecaster, daytradingcoffeeco.com if you are interested in our weekly analysis, our coffee, anything in there. You can always use my code, PolicingPips, get you 15% off. Also, all of my education posts are in there as well. So, looking to see, maybe we can get one more good trade out of this with Microsoft being heavier. I want one more maybe manipulation higher over 50. Get me up over there, and I'll short this if it comes back down here. Holding, it's holding, it's holding. Like I said, I wanted more manipulation. I want a bigger volume candle here. So you can see this one came in on more volume and then it rotated off of that. This one here came on bigger volume and it didn't rotate off. It continued in that direction. So the momentum is still to the upside, right? The buyers, their momentum to the high side are still strong. I did mention down here, this is where I took my first long. I kind of wanted to see this type of action right off the jump. Didn't get it. We rotated to VWAP like our normal strategy and got taken out there. Once we did this a second time, flushed the low, didn't follow through. The strength, the relative strength I talked about in the S&Ps, where I was holding over 55.47 to keep this going to the high side, right? That was the strength, and holding over the overnight lows does make sense as well. I like it. I like it for the short side, but Nvidia just crept up over the highs again, so I definitely am gonna pause. 9:30. We've been open for 1 hour. We've cleaned up the overnight high and overnight low. So now there's the time for it to decide, are we going to pick a direction? Are we going to start to rotate out? Are we going to start to just get trending? I think there's a good chance trending does play over because your data is gone, right? The data's out. Now it's time that the directionality can get picked, right? We don't have anything really. Tomorrow, consumer sentiment, it's not going to be a huge difference in this market. So I don't think people are waiting for consumer sentiment. I want to time this correctly. I want Nvidia to get me to like 120, like break above 120 and then come right back down. That would indicate that it wants to go. Microsoft's still holding kind of strong at this low at 421.40. If Microsoft breaks down from 421.46, then potentially I can get this short, but it looks like it's still strong. Nvidia is still strong, still keeping me out of this. '50s. I want manipulation up to the high side. I'm willing to short this through this level if I could get one more push up, but I want that one more push up. I'm not really willing to risk everything for without that manipulation, right? I want to see it say, "Oh, we're going to get long," and then snap short. There we go. I think if that's not going to go long, then we're going to snap short through that low, through 40. But it looks like Microsoft's curling up. Nvidia broke through right at 119.99. Didn't quite break through 120 yet. Maybe it's getting front run at 120. Let's see. Microsoft curled up. Nvidia breaking higher. That leads to strength in the NQ. Right there. There's 120 in Nvidia. Didn't snap really. Just kind of sitting there. So potentially does give me the opportunity for this to fail. If it goes now, it goes. If it doesn't, this would be my timing. Nvidia is holding 120, so that should lead to strength in this upside push. Watch for Nvidia S&Ps to reject 55.73. If it does break and go, then you're still going to be good up to 19,400, I think. There's Microsoft getting bid 422. So now that you can see that they're working together, you can see our moves going straight up. You can see Nvidia going up through 120, and you can see Microsoft trying to go back towards that 422.51. So that's where I see Confluence acting together. If Nvidia fails 120, I would anticipate this to rotate pretty hard to the downside. Just like a snappy move. Nothing that I'm not looking to just, I'm going to probably get to even quickly on that kind of move. There it is, snap down. There's a hard snap to the downside. I want to see this get a little bit further. There we go. I'm at even. And there's that beautiful move. What do you know? Daddy knows best, right? Come on now. Get me down lower. Get me down lower. Keep going down. Don't turn around. Securing myself a guaranteed payout day, at least. That's just what I'm going for there, but I think this could keep going. I'll take one off down here at previous day lows. Woo! Let's go, baby. Let's go. How do you like that short? How do you like that short? Come on now. Let's go. Fuck yeah, baby. Come on now. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, baby. Let's go. I'm going to take one off here. Let's see. Nope, I took all of it off. That's how you do it right there. Boom, cash money. Using that timing. This is going to keep going, but I'm a mean reversion to VWAP guy, right? That's my game. Name of the game, don't wear it out. Let's go. Locking it out. Done for the day. Booyakasha. Little golf claps for that. Don't do dumb shit. Wait for your confluences, and you will be very happy. You'll be rewarded constantly if you just stick to your plan. That's real good trading right there. Hopefully you guys saw that. I know Zuka-san saw it. I know he saw it. Hell yeah. Cash money, baby. Power of micros compels you. $488 on 3 micros for the day. Another good, solid winning day. We locked ourselves out there. I kind of just talked you through it as I was waiting, as I'm telling you these things are going on, right? Use these Mag 7 names to your advantage. Understand what you're trading. I'm trading a equity index that's weighted 30-something% on Mag 7 names. And of those 30%, it's Microsoft and it's NVIDIA that lead the way, right? These names lead the way in these indexes. So if you can wait for their divergences to kind of correlate. I wait for the correlation, and then I snap. I take my trade. I wait for my setup around key structure levels, and then I get done. I'm out, right? I talked about the short here. I want another manipulation. I want people to say, I'm going to get long. I want jubilation to the high side. Do I think this still goes up? Absolutely. I do. I think that this still has to 400. I think it still has to all-time highs until that rate cut. I still think that that's possible. But structurally, technically, using the other names to find when those pullbacks are going to come into play. And usually the shorts come in much harder than the longs. So for me personally, this was a clear-cut, no-brainer, A+ setup. Have to take it. I could have even went a little heavier on the size, but overall, I'm okay with how this worked out. Absolutely. Every single day, if I could do one trade like this, I'm going to be very happy. And things are going to kind of keep moving forward. So we locked out. We're good to go. And now you can see this probably recovers a lot from the NVIDIA pullback. Microsoft pulled back right to 420 and bid up. NVIDIA is bidding up over 119. Should you see that whole recovery happen, that's strong, right? This was a technical break at a key structure level. You got to take it. You got to take it every time. So, and we trailed out pretty much most of it. I mean, I got to previous day high. I got a little bit sloppy because I switched my hotkey back to 3. So I wanted to get out of 1, and I went to go click it. I said, oh shit, it's at 3. So I could have took out 1 at down low here and then trailed the rest of it up there, but it's fine. I'm cool with taking that 488 and walking out the door. Yeah, we got Phil there at one of our contracts actually got filled down at 92. Damn. And then the other one got filled at 79. Okay, that works. I'll take it. I'll take it. It's all good, Zook. All good. Hopefully, like I said, everybody saw what we were seeing, or if you don't know what we were seeing, talk to me. We'll go over it. I want you guys to kind of understand what I'm looking at on a day-to-day basis, why I took the long from here, why I took the short from there. You want to see some places where there's reaction over and over and over again, right? And constantly I see this play out. Overnight highs, overnight lows, previous day's highs, previous day lows, and then major structure levels, right? The pullback right to that opening range made sense. It's a tight opening overnight high, a tight overnight range, let's call it. Yesterday's range was really expansive, right? Previous day high. The fact of the matter is, I think that today, after a super expansive day, you're not going to get that big grinding move to the high side right away. You're not going to get that to continue per se. I mean, we are trying to hold it. There's a chance that it still grinds up. I do think that 19,400 does make sense for at least a short-term target, and then 20,000 and then beyond. I think 19,610, right? I talk about that 19,610 level a lot. I think 19,610 could come into play today. It's just how is it going to get there? It's not going to be the same type of move you got yesterday because that's too obvious. It's not going to, I mean, all the data is out there, right? There's not any more data before this rate cut comes next Wednesday. I don't think they're looking at consumer sentiment. I don't think they care what we think as people. I think realistically, you're probably going to start to get a grind up, but the levels that we play on a day-to-day basis are very reactive. So I'm going to go ahead and take that, clip it, send it to the bank, and be done for the day on that move right there. So I locked out. If you guys are still trading, just be mindful of these levels. Start using your Mag 7 names to your advantage. NVIDIA, Microsoft, whatever you need. And you're going to be good to go. I think overall, like I said, another good, solid winning day. Consistency kills. Don't do dumb shit. Confluence equals confidence. These little tiny things that I kind of say to myself day in and day out. I look at my mug. I say, don't do dumb shit. Don't enter at some of these other areas because you didn't have, I have one little piece here and one little piece here and another piece there that I'm like, these aren't quite ready to go. Even here, I waited for this. I waited for it. It came in. I took just like $20 off. I said, this is not really going to follow through. Took it off. Right? Then you see this established more. I want to see a wedging pattern. I'm not doing dumb shit. I'm waiting. I'm being patient. I said, I'm not going to enter anywhere here until I get a manipulation over the high. You got a manipulation over the high. If this is going to be a true breakout, it's going to continue. It's not going to come back and fail this. So what happens? It comes back and fails it, and it melts off in a couple seconds, right? And it coincided with Microsoft coming up to a key structure level of 422, NVIDIA failing 120. If NVIDIA couldn't hold 120, you expect a bunch of sellers in NVIDIA, and NVIDIA being so heavily weighted, it starts to lead to selling there. Microsoft was wanted to be heavy all day, so once NVIDIA sells off, Microsoft sells off, which leads to NASDAQ giving you that big sell side move, right? So we are good for the day. Another great day, another great trade. Hopefully somebody caught it out there in the world of policing pips. Otherwise, I'll still be out here every single day. Power of levels compel you. Sorry. You want to learn how to catch these moves? Come by Policing Pips live stream every single day. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys this chart. Got to do it for the gram, you know what I mean? So we took 3 short there at 40 and we got in at 40. So we'll go with a little sideways arrow here at 40. And we got out at 79 and 92. Boom. Let's get it. Gotta do the gram. Boom. Done for the day. Alrighty. There's a little bouncy bounce. Rotate down to previous day highs again. NVIDIA is selling from that 120. You got a double top basically there at 120. So that sell-off continuation made some sense there. You didn't ever come back to the entry. So still selling off. Microsoft's a little bit relatively strong-ish. You know, it's still beaten down, it's still lower. However, it's not selling off as hard. You might start to see it sell off more a bit here if it does start to break down to 420 because NVIDIA is doing that, right? NVIDIA's there, Microsoft's there. Microsoft's trying to be relatively strong at the moment, and then you could see holding here at this key structure level. I drew up this 55.73.50 for you guys right there before we ended up getting that short, right? I said if we can manipulate over this, same deal as that overnight high. This isn't the overnight high here in the S&Ps, but it was a very respected level pre-market, right? You can see here once, you know, I would consider that twice, 3 times, 4 times. That was a breakdown point. You know, it was a breakout and then a failure and then rotated back down there. Same thing there. So it's a key structure level from the overnight session, even though it wasn't the overnight high. The true overnight high was not on the chart. Where'd it go? Oh, I was a couple days old. The true overnight high was here on that spike from the 730 number and then down, right? So this was pre-spike support. See if we want to expand after previous day's range. See if NVIDIA wants to hold 118. See what happens here. Does Microsoft start to catch a bid, hold that 420, continue down to the upside? Do you get all of that follow through to the other way? I don't know. You know, you never know. But we are done. For me personally, like I said, Top Step's fantastic, has a great lockout button. After I take a plus trade setup like that, I'm not willing to give anything back for the rest of the day, right? I've hit basically what I think is the best trade that I possibly can get out of the day, right? Two times I executed to my strategy that were absolutely perfect as far as execution was concerned. Was this right off the jump, waiting for that failed break of the overnight low? I didn't think we were ready to expand to the downside. I thought maybe we would need to manipulate up higher, so I took that to VWAP. Got stopped just shy down here on that break back down. Was looking to see if it would get some continuation. Never got that contract off there, which is fine by me. Secured a nice, $130 or whatever there. I then took the first time short through here, anticipating that it would follow through. The timing was pretty much right, except for that it just didn't have that follow through on Microsoft. It was just not ready to go yet. So I snapped that out at $20, basically an even trade, caught some points out of it. And then I said, all right, once this starts to follow through here, the tightening here, the lack of follow through, everything here tells me that this wants to either break out and continue on to the upside, or if it's not going to break out, we're going to start to get some failures of NVIDIA at 120. NVIDIA got to 120, wicked it, and then failed. Immediately we failed. We got short through the overnight high, said it probably shouldn't come back there. We trailed that thing out down to here, took off as much of it as possible, and carried on. Mean reversion back to VWAP, time and time again, plays out. As long as you're willing to time it correctly, you can get that follow through. Could you have taken this with, let's say, 3, 4, 5 contracts, take off 2 of them into VWAP, and then left that one runner at entry? Absolutely, you could have. And then seeing if this was going to kind of rotate down. I think that the relative strength of NVIDIA pushing right back up towards 120 make me believe that this is not going to hold here and potentially still could go back to the upside. So overall, it's good to go. Let me be right back. I got to ask the wife something, and I'll come back. Okay, now we're getting back to that overnight high again. Like I said, I locked myself out. I'm not in this anymore. You want to come say hi, Max? Come on. Come say hello. Say hello to the peoples. Hello, traders. Say, stick to your plan.
Stick to your plan.
Don't do dumb things.
Don't do dumb things.
That's it. That's good. Do you see yourself? There you are, right there. Look up to the left. You see?
I see me, but I'm looking down.
Yeah, you're looking the other way because the camera's here, but the screen is over there, so it looks like it's over there. So you want to see yourself in the front of you?
So I'm looking there.
Yeah.
And
another failure of that overnight high.
I'm looking there.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't see myself.
You can see yourself. You're right here.
Yeah, I see myself, but I can't see. I'm looking this way, but I'm looking this way and here too.
Mm-hmm.
Looking now.
Yeah, you're so funny. All right, say goodbye. Have fun with mommy.
Bye, traders.
Bye.
Why am I on this?
Oh, watch your fingers. You okay?
Why am I okay?
All right. Nope, no buttons. No buttons. Okay. See you later, buddy.
Hey.
Have fun with mommy.
Have fun with Daddy.
I will. That's me.
Have fun with the traders.
I will have fun with the traders. Always nice to have Max stop by, be a part of the team. Another good day here at Policing Pips. Gonna go ahead and type up my journal here. After we switched from the minis to the micros and just set ourselves up for better position sizing, we've been doing a lot better of just managing some of these positions, allowing them to work out a little bit better. Our timing's been better too. So, I mean, realistically, I could be trading. A few of these trades could have been done with minis and been not an issue, but patience pays. So edit a journal entry there. Top Step X, and there's a lot of really good features to Top Step. Let's see what's going on here. Is there a good sell-off coming? I locked out, but there's a nice sell coming in there. I saw in video kind of wiggling a little. Microsoft's breaking down towards 420. If Microsoft could break 420, I would anticipate some more follow through here, but you could still see it stay rotational here up over that opening range high. Watch for the S&Ps though. If it can't hold opening range overnight lows, then this may follow through a little bit more. There's that breakdown. Overall, very good day so far for the stream. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. Unfortunately, not being on yesterday probably threw off some of the momentum on the stream. Some people not back here yet today, which is understandable. Just couldn't get on yesterday. Had to do family things. sticking with the good habits, sticking with good momentum, allowing this to be a solid positive week. We were down 900 and change, back up to about 500 in the green, looking to try and build this buffer out before taking the payout on this account here. Today is another qualifying day towards payout, so that's up to 4 now. You only need 5 winning days of $200 or more. You could see clearly I'm not at a point where I want to take any money out. I'm just, lingering around that 755. So, I want to build this up to 2,000 plus before I even start looking to consider any sort of payouts or anything like that. 2, 3, if I can get this account to 5K, by the end of the month, I'd be really satisfied. We got 2 more weeks left. I would like to build that up to continue this on. For this week, we are sitting at, realistically with these 2 max loss days, we are probably in a nice $1,700 run. 5, 8, 9, about 1,700 in the last 5 days. So we could do that again, another 5 days. That would put us over 2,400. So looking to just kind of continuously secure just our base hits, allow ourselves to make our money, lock ourselves out, and just continue to call out good executions when we see them coming. Right, like I said, I'm not a signal service. I'm here to provide good value. Thank you. Yeah, he knows about the traders. Absolutely, he knows what Daddy does on the computer. Both of my kids. My other is in school, so I'm trying to teach them, that there is opportunity out there, and if I could develop this, over a long period of time, then potentially when they're ready to go, they'll be interested in it. If not, no big deal. Whatever they like, and we'll try and make them the best for them. So that's what we're here for. That's the reason I trade, and I appreciate that compliment there, Profit Trader. Always nice having you guys around, having good conversation, and they love coming in here and saying hi and talking to you guys because they feel like a part of it. So I like to make them a part of it for sure. Overall, as I mentioned, we took this long here on the open, failed break of the overnight low. Mean reversion back to VWAP, played like clockwork. Was not able to get that one contract off, but still pretty much secured as much of that position as I possibly was going to catch anyway. Saw this long coming into play, but I had some doubts on Microsoft following through to the upside, which is fine. I'm willing to stay out of this if it's not an A+ setup. Waited. The patience paid off because we waited all the way till overnight highs. Got to the overnight highs. Took that first failure and just secured a small little piece of it, right, from 330. We'll call it the average price of 337 down to 332. It was only on 2 contracts. I didn't see it being ready. My hotkeys only had it set for 1. So I was waiting for this here. I wanted to see that follow through manipulation. If it wasn't going to come back down, it was going to continue on to 400. So I say if we fail 50 or 60 here, I'm going to look to get short through this level. Once we started to see that come in, I said I'm going to take this short here, and clearly you could see what happened from that. We locked out. Top Step X allows that good lockout feature, so allow yourself to lock out, enjoy the rest of your day. If I wasn't streaming, I wouldn't still be on. I would have walked away. I'm locked out. There's no reason for me to be on the computer anymore. I am watching this. I do want to see what happens the rest of the setup, the rest of the session here. I want to see if we can come into Friday, see what kind of information we're gathering, what we're going to push into as this week comes to a close, and then into early next week, we are going to get that rate decision. I want to see if we can push up into highs. I want to see if we can get into that 19,610, that area where I'm constantly interested in, right? If we can get up into this area, then potentially I'm going to go to the 30-minute chart, and then I'm going to show you this. This is where we're at now. I did say that 398, 400 is probably a good area for a target today as we accept and rotate there. So I think that that's possible. I think even higher is possible potentially. 19,610 has been that area of interest since we rolled into this new contract. We do have this bit of a downtrend here that we did break. Now retest. Now we're looking to try and continue on. If we could get up over 400, 610 does come into play. And I do believe if we could get over that 760 number, then close to and approaching all-time highs as we get into Wednesday does make sense. It's going to seem parabolic. It's going to seem almost irrational. And then you're going to see the institutional selling start to take place due to the fact that historically, if you go up a few comments in the chat, I posted the picture that Deck posted, but historically you can see that I actually think I have it here. Historically, you can see on Fed pivots, every time there's a cut, there's a pretty substantial pullback. I mean, obviously here we were in much higher territory as far as the rate was concerned, but we were in these low rate environments. I still think it's still a technical low rate environment, but it's elevated currently. So if we could get this pulled back, a few little points here, then maybe potentially we will get back into this pullback range of 25 to 35%. I don't know if we're going to get a 50% retracement, but which I don't think that's actually 50%. This is the S&Ps, sorry. So NQ is going to be a little bit deeper if it's going to look like that. But technically speaking, this looks poised for a sell-off at this point in time. So if you are interested in that, take a look at it. It's worth it. So you can see here, like I said, I do believe that holding this opening range high, S&Ps holding that overnight low, rotating back again to previous day highs, trying to see if we can accept some sort of range here above that area. I'm not so sold on expansion today just because of yesterday's crazy price action to the upside, but I do think that there's continuation still in store. I think 19,610 is that area of really key interest. I think this 400 level comes into play at least, probably maybe within this next hour, this 19,400. If we could breach through this overnight high again, start to carry some momentum that way, you could see that 19,400 come in pretty quick. I think with NVIDIA currently trying to creep up over towards that 119, it's up over 119 right now, and Microsoft held 420 and is rotating back the other way. So, this is what we've been looking for as far as when the longs were going to come in. Now, does it just rotate back down? Do we stay rotational and just stay within this wedge? I mean, this consolidation. I think potentially we just try and break and come into that 400 level, maybe right here, right now. But, with NVIDIA giving you a little push up, you could see NVIDIA in its little wedge, downward wedge type pattern here, looking to kind of see if it's going to break out of this or if it's going to rotate back the next way. And Microsoft also trying to push up to highs. It was perfect price action for me today. I know it's choppy, but I do fare pretty well in rotational days. I saw the momentum kind of playing out. We're using these names in confluence, right? Microsoft, NVIDIA, S&Ps, and NASDAQ all together. Still just trading a couple micros, made our just shy of $500 on the day and locked ourselves out. Just playing. I'm showing the executions on the screen. Yeah, I mean, you're going to, especially the rate that you trade, with the amount of trade you take, you're going to take some here and there. Just things aren't going to play through. But if you're green, you're green. I think it is actually pretty clear price action for a choppy day. It is a day that I anticipated to be either directional or just having a bit of a pause before getting directional, getting back towards that four. Like I said, I think that 19,400 is a good target for anybody who's looking for longs. I think 19,610 is going to come into play some point soon. Does it happen today? Maybe. Does it happen tomorrow? Potentially. I don't think that we have much downside potential currently. I think it just seems like it wants to hold, especially NASDAQ's relatively strong. S&P just tried to retest that overnight low again and rallied off of it one more time. Does it pull back again? It could. It could just stay rotational again. You could get this same type of move again. Will it happen? I don't know. Nobody knows when. I mean, this is a good time for it, right? Will it trap some people into thinking this is going to happen again, short to the opening range high, and then snap and rally? Or is it just going to never come back and give an entry and look for that break above? And I'm watching more like Microsoft and Nvidia to tell me these things because they're really, really acting that way right now. I think the squeeze happens absolutely with the way Deck just kind of explained it. Oh, I don't know what I just did. Clicked. Get caught. Those of you who are just showing up, we did take a couple trades today. We took the initial failed opening range, overnight low breakdown. This is part of my strategy. I'll take this 100 times out of 100 where I get a strong break to the downside, run into major structure, and then fail our overnight level. Try and rotate us back to VWAP, which is what we did there. Took this short the first time. Everything lined up except for the strength in Microsoft. So I decided I'm gonna just cut this at a couple points, call it five points. Nothing huge there. Waited for that even better timing. Wanted that manipulation over this high. I said once I get that manipulation over that high, we're gonna take a short through the overnight high in anticipation of Nvidia failing the 120 level, which it did. It failed it and drove Microsoft down, which was relatively weak, which definitely just kind of led to this explosive seller here to come through. So now we are trying to break the high again. Nvidia hasn't quite made it to 120 yet, and Microsoft still butting its head against 421.50. So if we don't get that follow through, it looks like we're going to start to get it now. There's that push. Oh, baby, beautiful. I think 400 comes into play, like I talked about. This breakout does make sense right here, right now. So that is a good call out there. I think 400 will be your next target. So just kind of talking through the relative strength, using these other names, allowing this timing to be more correct, talking through, okay, we have some relative strength in the day. The momentum is still to the upside from yesterday. And looking at the quiet period, all the data is out. I think we get to 400, possibly to 610. When we get to 610, what is going to happen around that point? And then I really think until next Wednesday, you probably see an exuberant buying happen. I didn't think today was going to give it to you early. I thought this is what kind of price action you'd get, a little bit of a rest. If you start to catch a bid, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't step in front of a bid, right? If the thing still continues to rally up, then watch out. Anything into this red line could give you rejection. I'm not going to step in front of this freight train at this point. If Nvidia can get up over 120 again, then watch out for more strong buying pressure. Then getting into what the plan is for next week is I think you get exuberant buying. I think you get a lot of people really excited for a rate cut. They're pricing in that 25 basis points. Some people even pricing in 50 basis points on a cut. Do we get that much of a cut? Maybe not. I mean, probably that 25 basis points makes sense just to kind of a show me cut. And then usually when we start this kind of easing, you're going to get a sell off in the market, right? So if your neighbors, if your friends, your family, people you don't know are talking about rate cut decisions and markets moving to highs, I would be very cautious for a sell off. Does it happen prior? Maybe. Maybe they're going to front run it. Who knows? But like I said, I think that this maybe makes more sense that it rallies towards those all-time highs until that 18th, Wednesday next week. Oh, that's what I need to do. Give me 1 second. The vitamins are ready. That's what I meant to say. Why are you crying? Okay, more rotation. That could be a trap for the short because Nvidia's pushing up to 120 right now. Alrighty, very, very good technical setups. Just kind of understanding the macro events and what's going to lead to what on each day. CPI came out yesterday, I thought, in a way that would lead to a rally, and clearly it did after it flushed out some people early. I took a buy. Here we go. I'll go back and show you my regerts from yesterday. I was on my phone out in Houston, and I don't like to trade on my phone. I don't want to. I really just don't have my full assortment of anything. I was just looking at charts. I found that it was at a key structure level for myself. I said, I'm going to take a chance at it, and I'm going to take a long after this sell-off came into right here. You can see I have no executions beforehand. I was very patient. I was driving. I was not doing anything. I saw, okay, we're getting into a key structure level. I don't think price really wants to go any lower. 544 would be a great retest. And what do you know? I took the long at 570 through this other, sort of confirming on the other side. So I took the long here, took some heat on it, kind of figured that 44 wanted to get tested. So I let it play out, really not down much, down a little bit. Came back, started to break above. I said, I don't really trust this to be a confirmed move. I'm going to get myself at even. I just put it at even, and I just closed it out. And then I looked again in a little while, and I think if anybody was on yesterday, they know what happened next. So my key structure levels definitely work out. If I was on the computer, this would have been a really great execution point. It was also too close to the hour. That was another reason why I cut it. That's just my rules. If I waited for that hourly close, I could have waited till this maybe pulled back some and took that entry at the same point, that 70. And, if we were on, this is where you get that rally. I tried to take a short here because I was like, I missed out. So I took $30 off. And then I got to the computer again during power hour, and I said, we're going to get a short opportunity at some point, right? No, nothing. You got exuberance. I took the fade of this high, and then I just locked out. I said, I'm going to take $30 and move on for the day. But you could see the entry point there down at the lows for the rotation back to VWAP. Probably would have at least been able to catch that VWAP move, right? If I would have closed my eyes and never looked at it again, then obviously I would have caught most of it. I'm not really in the business of catching this whole piece, but to be happy about understanding the levels, understanding the dynamic of what we were looking for yesterday. Unfortunately, like I said, I didn't get anything out of it, but to see that setup, that opportunity at the key level worked out so well is a good positive. And then sticking to my rules, right? Sticking to my rules of not trading on my phone and trying my best to just, all right, eliminate that FOMO, eliminate it. I came on at power hour. I was on my computer. I had my full suite of screens and charts and stuff. So I decided to give it a shot. And I said, no, this is just too strong. I'm getting out. I'm not playing it. So the ability to stick to my rules, to not do dumb shit, don't do dumb shit, out now. I'm very happy with that. Just the discipline of it. Some people would be really upset about missing out on that kind of clean, clear cut move. You know, was it annoying? Yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to say I wasn't annoyed, but at the same time, I'm happy with sticking to my rules. In hindsight, things like that tend to not work. Things like that when I'm away from my screens, away from stuff, that doesn't work out. So trying to stick to the good mentality, sticking to the good, just overall sentiment of doing the right thing, always not doing dumb shit, paying off here now. Last week I took those 2 full losing days, even though the trades were right. I just didn't allow myself the opportunity. So if we're going to go and review, just kind of talking through how to make these adjustments, right? These 2 days, I didn't take bad trades. I took my setups, I allowed them to kind of work, and then they just would snap me out. I was trading for the time. I was trading a little bit too big, just a full mini contract, but I made the adjustment in here. I said, stuck to the strategy, did not work according to the parameters. I'm making the adjustment and executing, right? I'm going to switch to micros. So today, that next day, stuck to the plan of sizing down, letting the setup work. Ever since I switched to micros, I've been allowing my setups to work out a little bit better, and you can see the benefit here kind of moving forward. And another qualifying day today, another bigger win. I'll take 400, 450, 200, $30. I'm going to take my green days and I'm going to just stack them up and allow them to work in my benefit. I'm going to see this profit curve go up and to the right, up and to the right is all we want to see this thing do. Eventually, I will tell you when I take a payout, if I'm taking a payout, what I'm going to be doing with these accounts as I do them, because I'm trying to show you as much transparency as possible here. I'm not hiding my balances. I'm not hiding the accounts, my daily stuff. This is everything here. It's live. It's honest. It's truthful. I think that's my main draw in any sort of room where, people are trying to sell you stuff. I'll try and sell you coffee. That's about it, right? I'm not trying to get you to buy a course. If I ever do make a course, it'll likely be free or very, very, very cheap. I'm not really crazy about people selling courses because I really don't think at the end of the day you need them. I think what you need is to find your own rhythm, your own niche, and find a good group of people who will support your whole journey, right? And that's really where I think we find some value. Coursework works really well for people who are brand new, for people who really don't understand what they're looking at. And if there's something that's really intricate that you need to want to add to your repertoire, I think then that's, maybe Bookmap. A course on Bookmap is going to be something that you may need to do because it's very confusing to look at if you've never seen it before. Or a course on new platforms, stuff like that don't really need you to pay for them. You might want to take a course on fundamental analysis. It's really all about you understanding what happens in the charts, developing your own set of parameters, developing your own strategies. I don't really think I ever became profitable until I really stuck to my strategy, right? I developed this strategy. I developed it using pieces of other things that I've learned, obviously, over the course of time, but finding out how things work, how price action reacts, what would be the behind the scenes thinking of what's going on in the background to make these moves happen, right? What kind of day it is, all those things that, maybe you don't really understand until you sit here and watch it time and time and time again and note it and say, okay, people tell you, oh, you should journal all your trades, do all this, do all that. But if you don't know what you're actually writing down or you don't understand, it really doesn't matter. You could write what the setup was. You could write what the counts were. I think when it comes down to it, allowing yourself to develop it yourself is really the biggest key. Yes, you could take my strategy and put it in and it'll work. But it's a matter of how you manage your positions. It's a matter of how you manage your emotions, right? I've talked about you can't control your emotions. You just can only control how you react to your emotions and the ability to kind of adapt yourself, and make yourself a little bit better every single day. So, you could take anybody's strategy and there are people that are profitable that do things that you wouldn't even think are possible, but they are, and they're able to do it because they developed it or they used it, right? Everybody using all these ICT methods or all these, courses from other people. it's very difficult for you to do anything that they're doing because you're not that person. You don't have the same type of you don't have that same type of stuff, right? And everybody completely overcomplicates things and tries to like add one thing here, add one thing there. 100%, Abby, absolutely. People don't really understand that there is actually a psychology to it. Especially when I taught in the boot camp, I taught about the comparison being the ultimate thief of joy, right? Your best thing to do is probably to delete social media if you want to become a profitable trader. Unless you just take it for what it is as entertainment. Everybody out there that's posting all these wild gains, their cars, their houses, their lifestyle, they don't have the same lifestyle you have. They don't have the same financial situation you have. They're making money on a lot of other things, not just trading. And yes, they do make money trading. I'm sure some of them do. But also because they're able to have that reprieve from not feeling the pressure of a paycheck coming in, right? I'm assuming most of them are paying with the rest of their lifestyle with trading, and some of the other stuff they're making kind of pays their bills, right? So don't let yourself compare yourself to other people as much as you're trying to learn little pieces from certain people that are actually just giving you good tidbits of information. Don't let the rest of their lifestyle influence you into what you want to do as a trader, because until you get rid of that, then you'll never actually be able to make money. I tried my best. That's all I can do. It is what it is. I think people don't understand. Like when you go into those things, like I wanted to be as honest as possible with most people, but they pay money for those, courses and stuff like that. And even the boot camp, like there's value to be had. And the only value I think that I really could provide there is being honest and allowing people to kind of take what they want from each little piece. You do need to see how some people trade and how they're profitable, but also you need to just take little pieces from them. Instead of complicating everything, try to make it as little, try to remove as much of the complications as possible. Try your best to figure out what works for you. I tell people to take personality tests. If you don't understand yourself, if you don't know what tilt feels like for you, you'll never be able to avoid it, right? Yeah, you have to do that with everything in life. I think people try to be everybody else instead of being themselves. But also at the same time, there are successful people out there because they do certain things. And if you learn what they do and kind of mimic it but adapt it to yourself, that's really what it comes down to. I think the biggest key for trading, for traders, I think the number one piece of advice I could give, or the two pieces, are the extreme ownership. Take responsibility for every single little thing that you do when it comes to trading and in life. And then on top of that, don't do dumb shit. Recognize when you're feeling good, when you're feeling bad, what your emotions are, what your reactions to stresses are, what your physical emotions are, what your physical responses to emotions are. If you take a loss, does it feel stressful? Do you start to get sweaty hands? Does your face get hot? Do you feel like you're fidgeting? Do you feel like this doesn't feel correct? If you feel that way, then you're probably in either too big or you're doing something that's not part of your actual plan, right? Because if this didn't work here, I wasn't going to feel FOMO or feel upset. It just is the setup that I have to take. And if it gets stopped out, it gets stopped out, right? Like it's just part of it, right? So the extreme ownership part of it is I think a lot of people won't do. And I think that's what's going to lead to them not being successful, right? If you get into the Top Step X or the Top Step Discord, you'll see so many people complaining. You'll see so many people saying, oh, Top Step's not working. Oh, this is not working. Oh, you have this rule. You have that rule. Instead of just seeing the rules, following them, and then understanding that if you break them or if the platform doesn't work, it's your fault. At the end of the day, if you don't, so I go in every morning and I go and I check Top Step X and make sure that there's nobody complaining about fills or orders or whatever. And if I see that they're complaining of those orders, I'll test it out, or I maybe won't go in with full size right away to see, to make sure if executions are working on my end. If they're not, then I'm going to avoid trading because it's not conducive to good trading. The other day I was streaming, we were lagging a little bit. Is it the lag's fault that I didn't execute good? No, I own that I was focusing on you guys and on the stream more than I was focusing on my trailing stop and my ability to get out of the trade or whatever. So it's not the fault of the computer. It's how you react to what's happening and how you can make whatever it is, the decisions you make are your decisions. If I entered here at the bottom and it flushed me out, you can't be like, oh, I got a bad fill. I should have never got stopped out. No, you entered it and then the markets did what it did, right? You took that trade. You lost. Good. Move on, right? Your internet didn't work. You lost. Move on. Have a backup system. If you trade Top Step X, have the mobile app. If it's going to work and get you out, then get out. Or go to their Discord. They have an emergency out chat. If you want to get out of a position, you type it in. They'll get you out of the position. There are ways around what you feel are not your problems, right? If you're in a trade and then it's almost at take profit and you still have your stop at your full loss and some unexpected news event happens, that's what happens. That's how trading works. And it melts off and goes to a full loss. It is either is what it is, right? You already accepted that loss when you took it, or could you have secured more of that win? Could you have secured some profits? How do you adjust yourself? Make the proper decisions on your terms. Don't go, and I'm going to take these executions off because they're bothering me. I just don't like to see them all the time. There's just too many of them. Like sometimes they double and triple when there's only one. So this is where we had that entry, and then I'll copy that here. Those are my trades for the day. And then obviously I have that one there as well, but I'm not going to muddy up the chart. Hopefully the psychology aspect of what I just kind of went through sticks a little bit. I kind of try to just hammer that home on a day-to-day basis when I'm out here. This today is a day that you kind of expect to be a little rotational, a little bit sideways, a little bit of a breather. You either have people who took huge losses yesterday or you have people who took really big wins yesterday and they do not want to necessarily do anything today as a result, right? Or they're slowing down, they're not getting as much opportunity. They think, okay, let's see what next leg up, where can price go? Right? That's really what we can ask for as far as these inside days kind of go. We're not really inside. We're still sitting right at overnight high, previous day highs. So anything over this level will be, more upside. It is holding that level for the most part. Microsoft has flattened out. Nvidia has come up to highs and basically stayed stuck in a dollar range between 119.40 and 118.40. So we're at the bottom end of that range on Nvidia. If Nvidia starts to catch a bid, start to rotate up, Microsoft could try and catch a bid as well, and then you could rotate this up higher again. Does it now finally push up and break and be the true break? It's holding that VWAP. It's holding that area. You are getting this wedging type price action. European close already happened. Now, yesterday at Euro close, that was sort of the bounce point as well. We had a pullback and then a continuation. So does that lead to more continuation to the upside now that the European markets are closed? We'll see what happens from that. All right, we got about 30 minutes or so left in the stream. I'm going to stay on till 11 today because I was not on yesterday. Anybody that wants to kind of go over anything, you let me know. As always, if you're on YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe, all that fun stuff. If you're on the Tradecaster community, share it with anybody that you know is a Tradecaster member or wants to become a Tradecaster member. They could always use my name, Policing Pips, for 10% off any membership if you do decide that you want to do that. I am free across the board. I did join Twitch for those few people who do have Twitch, just for just attempting to do some little things here and there, just to expand the reach a little bit, try and get us everybody into Tradecaster. I do love it over here. It's a good, nice little setup for you guys to jump from room to room if you really want to, maximize your learning abilities. And if I'm not on at, I get off at 11, more people are on later. It's just a really good setup for traders in general. So it's a good place to be, I think, for sure. I would love to continue to grow this room. So as we approach, 100 viewers a day, average daily, I will start to do some giveaways. Again, probably some coffee stuff, maybe some membership stuff. We'll see what happens. So if you do have people that you want to bring into a room, the sooner the better, so we can start doing some more of that fun stuff. Once I get that, maybe I'll give away some combines if I can get some of that deals with the Top Step community. So I'm going to work on that as well. Overall, we've been doing a really good job of just sticking to our levels, talking through stuff, talking through psychology, anything that anybody wants to go through, let us know. We will go over it. As always, go over to daytradingcoffeeco.com, get all of your coffee needs. We have 10 different roasts, all roasted on demand, so nothing sits on shelves. I have no inventory sitting around. It is legit, just you buy it, it gets roasted, sent to your door. I currently am drinking the Scalper's Delight Dark Roast here, right there, and I will probably have a short squeeze espresso here in a few minutes once I go turn my espresso machine on and make it for myself. But we have decaf all the way up to that espresso blend, and we do have K-Cups. I do offer volume discount on K-Cups, so if you want like a big bulk order, just hit me up. Either contact me here, email, text, whatever, direct message, Instagram, wherever you find us, let us know and we can do that for you. Currently, it only has the dark roast on the K-Cups because I find that to be the best out of the K-Cup, which is slightly not the best brewing method. And then we also have clothing, gear, mugs, shirts, hats, whatever you want. We got that Don't Do Dumb Shit right here. Simple mug, remind you to not do dumb shit on a day-to-day basis. Like I said, hats, shirts, mugs, stickers, whatever you think you could need. I'm updating these always, trying my best to add more and more shirts, more and more different kinds of apparel, drinkware. Our coffee is going to be the same through and through, so don't be afraid. Hit it up. Follow us on Instagram if you have Instagram at Day Trading Coffee Co. And then all of my streaming information will be on there as well. So on a week-to-week basis, go over there and check out the education tab. That's where I post my information. Just going through financial Jews. If you guys want, I could start a Discord. I do have one that I've just kind of abandoned. I don't really mess with it, like I said. So if we have stuff that we're thinking about on an overnight or whatnot, I might set that up. Overall, very good session. Again, like I said, we took our entries according to the strategy that I normally do. I know we have multiple different strategies in here, multiple different people doing different types of things, but try to use each other to each other's advantage, right? Allowing the trade ideas to kind of bounce off of each other. I'm always trying to learn. I'm always trying to grow. I'm always trying to look for things that potentially we could, use to our advantage in these markets. And right now, I'm kind of just using some more structure levels, some major structure levels, along with my overnight highs. I see you typing, Scott. Are you hiding in there? Quick little type and then disappear. Once you see this MLL disappear down to 0, that's when we were going to be better for payout time. Quick 860 and lock yourself out. Hell yeah, baby. I like it. I can always see you lurking. I got you coming in, coming out. I pay attention a little bit, as much as I can. I usually am looking at this screen here and trying to focus on my trade ideas. I've locked out pretty early. I locked out after this trade at 9:35. So I'm turning my focus more towards the chats and the YouTube and whatnot, and trying my best to interact with everybody that actually has questions, has things that they want to go over, or anything like that. So doing my best to be an entertainer when I'm not trading, trying to give better ideas. Very nice. I'm glad you didn't do that today. I'm trying my best to kind of give you guys this looks gross, right? This looks like a shitty price action, but if you just take everything for what it is, I'm trying to get into my trades, right? I'm looking to see, okay, I had a plan. I talked my plan out. I said, I want to see this flush the overnight low, get down into the 210s, 220s on a nice strong push, and then immediately recover it. And now it's what we got. So that kind of setup for me looks like we're going to rotate back to VWAP, and we got that move. Same thing over here. If we're looking for this to just set up on us, right? We're getting in here. Everything's kind of just dancing around. We did take that short there on a breakdown after that wick up to 50, just to see if we can get follow through. I saw that the follow through wasn't coming, so I got out right around here, around 30. I got, my average price was 37. I got out at 32s. Just kind of seeing that trail wasn't going to work out. Wanted one more manipulation. We got it. You saw that manipulation there, and then this candle took a couple seconds for us to catch that entire move. So we caught 2 out there at 79 and one final one out at 93.50. So it worked out really nicely to trail out there. Then we locked ourselves out. Top Step offers a great feature where you can lock yourself out. I will go here and there. My account is manually locked out. You can see manually locked out. I went out of my way to click that button. If you do not know what that is, learn what it is. If you go up a certain amount or down a certain amount on a day, this will keep you actively participating in your money management, right? It'll keep you participating in a way that builds good habits. It allows you to not do dumb shit. Don't do dumb shit. Brought to you by Day Trading Coffee Co. It allows you to just take that FOMO and get rid of it. It takes that greed and gets rid of it, right? It's a good opportunity to say, okay, I see that I'm doing this, or I see that I did that, or I went up a certain amount and I don't think I want to give much of that back anymore. So you could always find another trade. There's always going to be that I see another one. So to avoid that, if you can't just walk away from your computer and avoid it, click the lockout button, secure yourself a win on the day, and just move on. This isn't like a true prop firm, right? Those prop firms, you're trading equities or you're on a floor and you got a bunch of people out there. They have early morning plays. They have, lunch hour. Then they have power hour plays. They have things that they want you out there making money for the firm. This is you trying to make money for yourself and do it in a way that's going to be scalable and repeatable and long-term, right? And so if you want to do this for freedom and you don't want to do it as a job per se, then do it to a certain point during the day, a certain hour of the day. If you see opportunities, if you see data releases, if you see things that you want to do, allow yourself the opportunity, but learn to get away from it. Learn to, if you want to trade, to have the freedom of time. You don't want to sit on the computer from 9 to 5, right? I stay here till 11 every single day whenever I'm on, and then I go do everything else. I go to work. I do whatever I do in the evening time, right? So if you're doing this for freedom, do it for the freedom. Make the money you need to make for the day. If you see the opportunity to make more, make that, and then set that like drawdown period for yourself, right? If you're up $2,000-3,000, if you think you can, risk to reward, it's still risk to reward. Am I going to risk, 1,000 of this? Well, yeah, right. You're on the computer for 12 to 14 hours. You want to trade for all of them, but you have to avoid doing that, right? Because there's not going to be opportunities all those. Right. So if you're going to do a 50K eval, you have to scale to your size. That's all. That's the difference of it. You can still do what you're doing, but set your expectations to be much, much less, right? Especially if you're in an eval, you can't make more than 1,500 a day, because if you make more than 1,500, then that's just going to extend the target, right? So if you only need to make 1,500, scale down so that you're only going to lose, let's say that risk to reward there is, we'll call it 3-1. Actually, it's 5-1, whatever it is. Scale that down to $500 loss limit, and then your 7K will become your 1,500, and then that's it. You just make that money. But you can't fall into the numbers trap, right? You got to just let it just do its thing and just scale your size to your account size, right? Like right now, I'm only building a buffer. I could make 5,000 today if I was trading minis, but I'm trading micros because I'm building a buffer. I have a plan in place to scale down and, leave it. There is no more daily loss limit. You have to set your own loss limit. Top Step has eliminated the daily loss limit. So if you don't set your own, you can burn your account in one day. I don't know if they did it with Ninja or not. I think they did it across the board, but I'm not certain if it's Top Step X or only. I'll look into it. Let me see. They didn't eliminate it for everything. I wouldn't want them to eliminate. I didn't want them to eliminate it. I don't like. I set my personal daily loss limit to 550, right, in this XFA. I don't want to lose more than that on that account. So you're better off that way. Seems like their payouts have been accelerated now. People are getting paid the same day, which is good. I think maybe there's going to be some momentum to the upside come into the afternoon. I think that 400, and then 610 if you get through 400. You have to set your own limits. Yeah, that's really the biggest key of not doing dumb shit, is to not fall down that hole. Because if it was a personal account, right, technically a 50K account is really only a $2,000 account, right? So if you're going to risk all $2,000 in that one day, then you're really just gambling. You're not setting any sort of management of your money or anything like that. So if you're $2,000 drawdown, I think even risking 10%, 200 or 500 even for the day is 25% of that. So that's a big drawdown for a day, but you have to leverage these accounts the way that they're kind of worked, right? So it's a double-edged sword, right? I wouldn't say risk less than that. You could and just build really, really slowly, but you have to kind of ride the hot hand when it happens. And then when you decide, that's the reason that blowing these XFAs is kind of common. So it's really just the amount of how much can you pull out before you get rid of them. Or if you just build out a huge buffer and then just trade that buffer as X%, right? If I could get this buffer up to 10K, now I have a $10,000 account as opposed to a $2,000 account, right? So if I have that 10K, right? Right. That's the thing. You have to learn to control your emotions, not control your emotions, but react to your emotions correctly. Know when you're on tilt, know when you're going to just need to lock out and just lock out and go away. Don't just trade the whole day just because you want to. I can make $5,000 too, but that's oversizing and over leveraging the account size, right? So that's why I switched. That's why I even scaled down even more on this. I'm just trying to get paid. I don't care about the numbers. Eventually, once they get bigger and the account size gets bigger and the buffer gets bigger, then I can start to scale up more. Instead of going with the 2, 3 micros, I'll switch back to trading minis. Maybe when this buffer is 2,500 to 3 grand, I'll switch back to the micro to the minis, and then keep my 250, the $500 loss limit, but maybe just make it a little bit 1 or 2 trades as opposed to taking a couple extra shots at it. 2 to 5 minis is huge size. If you're trading that on a 50K, so if you had your own personal account to trade 2 to 5, you need $1,000 per contract as far as margin. So if you're trading, let's say five minis would be you need at least a $5,000 margin to start. So 5 minis on a $2,000 account technically is oversized in margin already. The one thing I could see for your strategy is allowing, since it's like basically shooting for 2 to 1s, is as soon as price doesn't go in your favor, just cut it. Like you could probably save yourself. Like if you're gonna enter here right now and you want to go long, and if it ticks down against you, a point, just cut it and then allow it to go. If it goes in your way, then you can go quicker to let it just allow you to get to your profit target. But if you enter and it immediately just dumps on you or it goes the other direction, there's a good chance that's probably going to hit your. If you could start, since you're on a practice account, you could start just getting into the habit of, I'm going to enter. As soon as it ticks against me, I'm going to exit. Just build the habit of exit, exit, exit. And then the ones that take off, right? If you're risking 3 to make 5 most of the time. So if you could hit off on those 5, twice. You could take a couple $100 losers, take $100 loser, $100 loser, As soon as it moves $100 against you, bang out of it. And then see if you can get yourself to really push. Yeah, that's why I switched over, because the volatility is a little bit more wild lately. Usually I could trade one mini and risk 200 and still feel comfortable allowing it to dance around. It just hasn't been. 250 is usually my sweet spot of risk, because that'll allow me 2 full losers. And most of the time, like I said, I try to bang out of those losers before that $200. So it gives me another chance at it, right? And all of these trades today, I could have taken with a full mini, and I would have had zero heat on any of these, right? Because they were absolute A+ strategy setups. So technically speaking, I could be up a couple thousand as opposed to 500, but I'm okay with that, right? So it's going to feel weird because you're so used to the big numbers. But then when you just detach yourself from the dollar amounts and just start working the setups, start working the risk management, you're going to start to really feel a lot more comfortable in being able to manage your positions better than just focusing on, oh man, I could have made 8 grand today. Like I could have easily too, right here. If I took 2 minis, I caught easily, how many points there from 40, from 39. What did I end up entering at there? My entry was short 340. I got in at 340 and I got out at 279. $61 times 4 ticks times $5 a tick. That's $1,200 times 2 contracts is $2,400. That move right there on 2 full two full minis is $2,400 in 1 minute, right? So that's just the power of those, right? This was $600. This was maybe $300 there, $300 there. So overall, probably a $3,000 day if you traded that way, but that's not appropriate for the account size at the moment. So I'm scaled down. I'm just working my base hits. And honestly, I'm one more day qualified towards a payout. So whatever I do moving forward, all I need is one more $200 day. I am going to build this buffer up first before I do take my next payout, but I'm going to build it up till this max loss limit at least is to zero. And then once we get, that's 2,000. So we're just, $1,300 shy of that, which we could do next week. Yeah, it's hard because you're trying to desensitize yourself to large dollar amounts when it's not really the time for it. You should actually desensitize yourself to the other end and try and get yourself to a point where seeing smaller numbers doesn't really matter to you. Because really what it comes down to is proper trade management. And then eventually, as your account grows, then you could just scale. I really want you to understand that it really doesn't matter. You can only trade the size that your account allows you to trade. Otherwise, it's just gambling, right? So that's how this company makes money. That's how all of these companies make money. That's how TopStep makes money. That's how Apex makes money. That's how all of these funding companies make money, because they have you guys trapped in the mindset of I can do what all of these other people are doing of making $10,000 a day plus. Yes, you can, but you need a 150K account and you need a buffer first. Those people maybe get lucky on their first gamble trade and they build a bigger buffer, and then they can start to leverage into it. But they don't show you how many times they've blown those 150K accounts, right? It's really easy to blow the accounts, right? You guys know it. You've done it. You've done it, and I've done it, and we all will do it again, and it's just going to happen because of the comparison being the thief of joy. That's really what it comes down to. Would you be mad if I gave you $500 today for an hour? Right? Is it that upsetting to make $500 in an hour? Would I walk past $500 on the street and not pick it up? Would I walk past $100 on the street and not pick it up? No. Absolutely not. So detach yourself from the giant numbers and start understanding that over time, I was trading micros from, I'd be so mad that you gave me $500 for not doing anything for an hour. You jabroni. This is the performance stats. I've made, since losing 1,000, I've made 1,700. This is all minis, micros, micro. And yesterday I could have banked. I just wasn't at the computer, right? So technically could be up over $2,000 since losing these two max loss days. And these were because I didn't allow my minis to provide me enough room to let the trades breathe a little. But if I didn't have these loss limits of 550, I probably would have just blown the account, because I would have made... Abby, I think you're starting to talk yourself into understanding that you overtrade a little bit. It's a good day. It's a great day. Sometimes you just got to accept it for what it is and take the money and run, right? If I'm up 12K, I don't want to give any of that back. Overall, right? Like, if at some point when we do get to that point when that's real money for you and that's like a good time, 12K day is a good day to be like, I'm not going to go below 10, right? Start setting that habit up. If you want to see big numbers on the upside, you have to set like drawdown numbers to where, all right, if I made 10K today, if I made 12K today, do I want to give back further than 10? Probably not, right? I probably want to stick with that 10. I think anybody in this game would be like, all right, I don't really want to give back more than X percent. If it's 50%, if it's $6,000, fine, that's fine, whatever. Just set a dollar amount that if you pull back from that high, you're going to set to that point and stop and walk away, because I think realistically, when you get to that point where you're like, oh man, I could make it back. Once you say I can make it back, That's when you start to get into further pull down. If you watch Top Step TV at all ever, you can go back to like some of them talking. Go watch them say, "Oh, this guy, one of the guys that's on the leaderboard, was up $40,000 today, and he ended up max loss." That happens all the time. Those guys who trade huge and don't have like a set pullback limit, they end up giving it all back and then max lossing for the day. It happens a lot. If you watch Top Step TV, if you watch the shoulder tap segments, usually I think around noon, they usually will say, "This is just a reminder to Jim. Jim was up 40,000 and he gave back all of it and ended up losing 10,000 on the day," or whatever their max loss limit is that they've established with that size of account. So just understand those things. Set yourself up some rules. I just keep it on in the background, so I hear things here and there while I'm trading, because I want to provide that to you guys. If I hear something where they're giving away accounts, if they're doing a competition, if there's any news on the platform, they usually hear it, so they'll announce it out. So that's why I keep it on in the background. I don't watch it. I just listen if I hear certain things like trigger words. I do have a radio ear from working as a police officer, so kind of learn to trigger in keywords to fade out other conversation. But overall, like I said, that's it for me. I'm done for the day. The real key to the story is don't overtrade. Don't do dumb shit. Allow yourself good risk parameters, and then I think we'll do good long term. I think you guys have the right mindset out here. It's hard to kind of detach from the financial part of it, but once you start to just go into the process, enjoy the process, learn a little bit every single day, start to really self-reflect, and then you're going to do better and better and better. But until tomorrow morning, 8:30 Central Time, I'm done for the day. I'm going to go eat a little bit because I don't eat breakfast until after I'm off stream. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow morning. If you guys have anything else to say, I will answer. If not, I'll be done. I appreciate you guys. Sorry I wasn't on yesterday. Had to take care of family things, but today we're back. And tomorrow, try to develop that good streak. I would like to take a nice 5-day winning streak today. It'd be a solid. We are at 5 days now. I want to take this whole week and make it green. So until tomorrow, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.